Texas. And when you think of Texas, you think of cowboys and rodeos and ribs, of course, but you also think space travel, that is. Houston is home to the Johnson Space Center. That's America's top scientists. That's where they work. They're trying to work out how to get to Mars at the moment.
Yeah, and among their best brains is the Kiwi, Mana Votier. We got special permission from the US government to pay him a visit and give you a special look inside NASA. This from Jahan Casanada and cameraman Mike Lowe.
It's exhilarating, it's dangerous, it's intriguing, there's a sense of wonderment about it.
On an old cattle farm in Texas is the birthplace of America's boldest endeavours.
Then I walked in through this door here and I looked up and I saw this.
The kind of thing we usually only see in the movies.
And then you look down the entire length of the rocket.
This is the real deal, a relic from the Apollo era.
It just blew me away. It was awe-inspiring. They were designed to send human beings to the moon.
Now, this humble Kiwi could be next in space.
That would certainly be the icing on the cake.
For most of us, space travel is the stuff of childhood dreams.
I think I've always just looked up at the night sky and just loved what I've seen.
Don't be fooled by the American twang. Mana was born in Rotorua.
There's very much that can-do Kiwi attitude. It's a big part of who I am.
He moved to the States to study and he became an aerospace engineer.
My whole life I wanted to be involved in human spaceflight. My parents, I think, instilled in me a sense of self-belief and encouraged me to do whatever I wanted to do.
This is it?
This is it. This is mission control.
This feels very 1970s.
Everywhere there are reminders of what was.
This picture here is pretty cool. It shows the lunar lander training vehicle.
Down a perfectly ordinary hallway.
In here?
Yep.
The very place from which human ambition took flight.
Can't quite describe it, but there's a strange sort of feeling in here. It's a sense of history.
A sense of history, a sense of nostalgia.
The moon landing was controlled by the men in this room. They also rescued the crew of Apollo 13 when they cried out, "Houston, we have a problem."
The amount of work and hours and dedication that took place to get those astronauts home safely is
mind-blowing, isn't it?
Mind-blowing. It's phenomenal.
Especially given their primitive technology.
Put a little message in the canister, open up the hatch, and send it through the tubes.
Wow.
That's how you'd get messages to other parts of the building.
But this isn't all just ancient history.
This is live right now.
America has astronauts at the International Space Station.
It's coming down, looks like over the top of Central Africa.
This is a mock-up of the space station.
There's no up or down, there's no ceiling or floor, so you can utilize all four sides.
So you'd just be floating around inside here?
You'd just be floating down the middle.
The job is far from glamorous. An astronaut's bedroom is the size of a small cupboard.
They'll personalize it, they'll put photos of their family up. You're in a very confined space for 6 months at a time with 5 other people.
Space travel takes a toll on their bodies. Some lose eyesight and their bones become brittle.
The astronauts are required to exercise up to 2 hours a day.
Now astronauts are preparing for a trip to the next frontier, Mars. They're surrounded by technology created by the world's best.
You become accustomed to it. It becomes part of your world.
Mana wants more Kiwis to dream big. This week, he helped Massey University launch a science academy for young Māori. His lifelong goal, to be the first Māori in space.
NASA opened up applications again for another intake of astronauts.
So he's put his hand up.
The chances are slim, it's less than 1%.
Mana loves his work, but the most important thing in his life is his 5 kids.
So if you don't make it, at least you've had a full life, and a life of things that you enjoy and love.
Whenever he's stressed or overworked, Mana comes back to this quiet hangar and takes a breath.
It reminds me of those emotions that I had when I first came here and felt the history of what has taken place.
For Kiwis who want to follow in his footsteps, Mana's advice is simple.
Shoot for the stars, and if you miss, at least you might hit the moon.